will never be able to see the official LEGO catalogue until today. Hello there and welcome to a very special video, because today LEGO have revealed in their merger with Bricklink, which if you don't know, LEGO are now merging with Bricklink. Bricklink is a more mainstream part of LEGO. There'll be another video going over like the privacy policy just before you do merge your account, though. That being said, if you don't merge your Bricklink account with your LEGO account as of like December 31st this year, 2025, then your Bricklink account will be deleted.
I'm in danger!
But anyway, that's not what this video is about, because we have sets from 22 different themes, cancelled sets. Allegedly, they haven't come out. A lot of these have seen different forms. This is from DC Micro Squad, and how these were uncovered is there is a Bricklink. It's like a part comparison, similar to the tool that's on Rebrickable, which is my preferred one to use, but because of the Bricklink merge with LEGO, not only do we have the Bricklink catalogue, LEGO have opened up their official catalogue. You know, the one that we've spoken about countless times this year that we'll never get our hands on until today. So what DC Micro Squad has done is saved me a lot of time in searching through every single number that has been skipped in a theme. Not every single one. There's probably a few ages ago that wouldn't have popped up, but a lot of these sets have made it onto official parts list. We have the exact number of parts, most of which are available for each set, and those of which that aren't available, exclusive torsos for updated minifigures, for instance, we'll see a load of those, represented with similar parts. Very, very few parts are missing from these lists. If you'd like to see me try to build any of these, let me know. There's one in mind. There's one in mind that will probably dominate the second half of this video, and it is a LEGO Star Wars set. So Star Wars fans, stay tuned for that, because I'm hoping it actually comes out 2026. Let's start with some of the other themes that we've got going here. Minecraft. There was a Summer 21 set. This is 21175, 545 pieces, similar for the early 2024 set. 500 piece sets, you know, you're looking at 50 quid. These are quite sizable Minecraft builds, similar to the Wither Battle coming out next year. No doubt with some other big characters, but the likelihood is these were either stopped so early in the process or released the following year. Got some superhero sets, one from DC, Batmobile, featuring the Flash, and then there's a Thor, a Okoye, and Outrider, possibly like an Endgame set. The Hulkbuster, because I think Okoye and two Outriders came with Hulk in that set. Maybe that's just a switch up for Fortnite. We have a Jonesy variant with a pickaxe polybag. I would have probably even picked that up just for the minifigure alone. A minifigure polybag, and another, I assume, some sort of polybag, or at least like a make and take with a balloon. This could have been another player. 3 brickheads, one from Video, which wasn't too popular, and 2 from Animal Crossing. My fiance really would have loved to have seen these. Tom Nook and Isabel. Hopefully we get them one day soon. They are built. Their part lists are somewhat available. So if you would like to see me build Tom Nook and Isabel, let me know and I'll show you how to do it on a live stream. Some city sets, the Red Racer polybag, which I think we did eventually get in some form. A police robot unit polybag, which I feel like is more for the LEGO movie. I don't know if the numbers line up. Police robot is definitely heavy LEGO movie vibes. A Crooks hideout raid, and then a police set with 3 other figures. Don't know much about that. Twitchy Tim adventure pack for Ninjago. I think we can see why this was possibly cancelled, though I'm sure Twitchy Tim does exist in Ninjago. Very odd choice of naming from LEGO. And a Monastery of Ice. Please, one day, can we get this? This is one of the only things I remember from early days of Ninjago, and I'm sure it's not the early days. I hope I know what I'm talking about. Overwatch 2 has a few other figures, Orisa and Effie, which kind of feel like brickheads. The Battle for Rio is definitely not a brickheads and Talon dropship. Talon dropship. I haven't played much Overwatch 2, few rounds maybe. The Talon dropship sounds almost Quinjet-esque. I would love to have seen a bigger model for that. Disney had a rumored buildable creature set for 800 pieces, which, let me know in the comments. What buildable creature do you think Disney would have released? Dimensions has a ton of sets they never got round to, potentially from the final wave that never came out that they were working on at the time. Harry Potter and Voldemort Hogwarts story pack, which would have included a little Harry Potter story. I don't think we got any Harry Potter story in the original game, none that I was aware of. Marceline Fun Pack from Adventure Time. A very, very popular Adventure Time pack was the original one. Perhaps this could have even bled on to an Adventure Time set. Maybe. I've seen a few on ideas. That would have been great. Holtzman from Ghostbusters. Another Knight Rider fun pack. We did get one originally. Maybe that was after this. Robin fun pack from Teen Titans Go. And then a few collectibles nicknamed Dynamite, Red, Black, Grey, and Blaster. No idea what these mean, though I'm sure some hardcore Dimensions fans have probably figured it out from the tidbits that we've got in Lego books since. And then also another starter pack that was a little after some of these sets, featuring no Batman. Oddly specific, but I think it's because we got the regular starter kit and then we did get a Batman specific one which just came with Batman characters. Maybe this could have even been something like a Star Wars tie-in. I don't think they would have given Star Wars minifigures in Dimensions. They probably didn't have the license. There are a few other sets like 77014, the Temple of Doom, might have been cool to have seen. Harry Potter 75949 sticks out with a night bus with 3 figures. 377 pieces. Let me check what the new Lego Night Bus includes, because we've recently got one this year and I feel like 75957 949 was the cancelled set. 957 has 403 pieces and comes with 3 minifigures. Maybe this set was an early version of that. There was a Las Vegas Mandalay Bay architecture set. Don't really know much about Vegas, so that's all I can give you on that. Jurassic Park has a cancelled set featuring Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm. Honestly, could be anything from the originals. 66 pieces, it would have been small. Maybe that would have just been the truck. We did build one of the Jurassic Park trucks from, I think it was the, oh, what's it called? The Dilophosaurus, the spray dinosaur, attacks the guy with the squirty cream canister that's hiding dino DNA. I am rubbish with names. We all know the scene that I mean. I feel like it could have been just one of those trucks with the pair of them in, and that would have been a set for 66 pieces. Can't have been too expensive. Potentially even around this £9 range that we're seeing. The Mandalorian speeder, we're seeing with the... Oh, that's the one, the Ghost Rider bike, coming out in January. We haven't built that yet. I will be building at least 2 of those though. And then from Lego Movie 2, penultimate set, is the Angry Unikitty versus Star Polybag. Would have been great. I have actually, how funny is that? I have the star on my desk. What a coincidence. It would have been great to have picked up a few more stars. And right next to the star, I promise this was not a planned segment of the video. I just have these 2 and then the ice cream as well from the Lego Movie. Can't believe they were there. And then finally, before we get to Star Wars, we have a Legoland set featuring 456 pieces, 40430, and absolutely no more information on that, though the pieces can be found again on Bricklink. That's www.bricklink.com/v3/inventory comparison/main.page. I am very interested in the Star Wars sets. Let's start off with the Rebels A-Wing 75143, which lines up to the A-Wing that came in the A-Wing Vader set. We're getting a new tie in the new year. We're overdue a new A-Wing at this scale. We have 75231 Death Star cannon, which puts it around 2018, just before we got the Death Star cannon playset, 75264. But this one has 241 pieces, which is over 100 more pieces, and has 3 minifigures, including a Stormtrooper, which seems to have a pre-2019 helmet mold. The last of the old Stormtrooper helmet, that was 6 years ago. They changed the Stormtrooper mold, and then we got the new one. Maybe this was kind of put off, and then they just got rid of the Stormtrooper side of it. We are jumping forward to the Bad Batch set, which puts it around 2020. A year before we got the Marauder, and this is 75289, and there's only a few color swaps, and there's also an extra set of legs for a Bad Batch crosshair, which I still think that's why Lego gave us a bonus Hunter in the Justifier with Cad Bane's ship, because the torso and legs for Hunter are the exact same for Crosshair. You've got the head from the 2021 Marauder, which did eventually come out after this one. This original one included some battle droids instead of the Speeder and Gongi that were in the Bad Batch Marauder. I would have liked to have got a few Stormtroopers maybe in the original Marauder. When I saw this originally, I've seen a lot of videos on 75286, the cancelled Bad Batch set. I was thinking, all right, this is season 3 right here. But the fact that it come out for Clone Wars is really, really nice, because it does show these little arcs we're getting in different shows are looked at for sets. It's just a shame we don't have Visions or Tals yet in a Lego form. 75303, the UCS Luke Landspeeder. 3PO doesn't have the dual molded leg, but likely this was just a, you know, placeholder for the side leg printing with the dual molded silver leg, which I think, just to touch on it, the side of the leg shouldn't have been printed silver. If you take a look at your dual molded 3PO leg, I had one on the desk. Honestly, not planned at all. If you take a look at your C3PO, you can see that the metallic silver is different to the light bluish grey that the leg's been molded in. They could have done a like a blaster metallic silver leg, or better yet, don't print the silver, let the grey shine through, and I think that would look just as good. The next two sets have been revealed in that very expensive coffee table book that we have seen now. The Super Battle Droid Bionicle figure and the 501st Trooper with ATRT. I feel like naming them Bionicle figures is just not an ode to how great Bionicle was. These were cancelled after the backlash from like Jinnah, so Rey, basically anyone other than Grievous. I am trying to piece together the Super Battle Droid. It's quite hard to do. Many custom pieces, but if you'd want to see both of these built as well, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to get around to these. We've also got a polybag for Star Wars, cancelled polybag. This one is 74 pieces though, compared to the 44 of the cancelled set. Even with as few pieces as it has, it came with the same printed dome as the 2018 set. I wonder if they would have kept it because of how close it was to the set's release. Onto the set that I missed out, which is the one that I'm most excited for, 75260, which does put it around 2019 amidst all the other anniversary sets. Let me read the paragraph that, again, DC Micro Squad put out. I don't agree with this. I do think it has been changed. It has been changed since its initial conception, but we'll start with this first. A cancelled 6th 20th anniversary set, which had already been named thanks to leakers. The minifigure parts are incorrectly listed. Throughout all these sets, colours and already existing pieces used as placeholders. The 20th anniversary minifigure here was likely Leia, based on her hairpiece being listed. Dooku's hilt isn't listed, so could have been a new part. He did include one lightning piece. I don't think Leia was the figure that was meant to be a part of this set. I also don't think Dooku would have got a new hilt. That would have been nice to have seen, but given how much the set designer for the V19, sorry, can't remember your name, did an amazing job on that set, how much he pushed for the helmet, for the lightsabers in that build, I don't think 2019 set designers, I don't know who was behind this set, I'm sure they did a great job, I just don't think they were pushing for that. Here we have the inventory comparison on Bricklink. Again, that's www.bricklink.com/v3/inventory comparison/main.page. If you do want to check it out and put your own numbers in here, I'm comparing the set with itself. I have nothing else to compare it to, so quantity A and quantity B are going to be identical. Right at the start, there's a few unknown colours and unknown elements. Unknown colours could have been a new colour that doesn't exist for this piece. We can see it's in brown there and grey on the top. Maybe they didn't exist at the time of this piece, or maybe they are recolored in a part that they weren't in. Again, this is like 2019. For the original set, Lego were likely keeping this on, and I do think this might be coming out next year. This top one is just legs, plain legs, probably for Dooku. I would have to assume they'd go with black, though they could also go with brown because dark brown seems to show up as this like translucent color here. Was the dark brown we use today available? This element is unknown, which could be just a number for a few elements that are listed that have been merged, which I do think could be the case. DC Micro Squad seems to think that this could be some sort of hilt for Count Dooku. I don't know if we'll ever see a Count Dooku hilt again, but what would be nice is to at least get like some sort of element to round it off. Maybe include like a superhero poser, or at least give it something that would look like its shape. We've seen Lego Star Wars lightsabers come with a 1x1 flat tile on the bottom. They could add a grey superhero poser or the elements used for Doc Ock's arms with a stud. That would work great. Here's the 1x6 raised arch, which does hint at the fact that this would have been a 20th anniversary set rather than anything else. But for the 25th anniversary, the minifigures use the same elements. They use the same elements as the 20th anniversary. We'll look back to that. Here is Dooku's torso. It's taken straight from Harry Potter. Professor Quirrell, Professor Squirrel's torso from the Philosopher's Stone. Legs for Yoda, torso for Yoda. A minifigure head, which I do want to note, the 20th anniversary minifigures did have yellow faces, but emphasized throughout all these builds are the fact that the colors aren't entirely accurate. So perhaps this is just a face that works on both like a regular, I don't know, I do think it's probably more likely to be one of the yellow heads. But also if you take a look, come on Luke. Okay, I'll get the other ones. If you take a look at all of the non-hiding minifigures, you can't see it too well now, but if you have any in your collection, have a little look, you'll notice they don't have pupils and are copies of the classic Lego faces. So if this was a 20th anniversary Lego set, I feel like Lego would want to go back and get the original head mold, which is available on Bricklink, would still be on Lego's catalogue, especially on Lego's catalogue, because they used to update the catalogue a lot back then when they weren't coming out with a million new pieces every year. They've used a more modern Lego face that works with just like generic characters, and again, this yellow could have been recolored to absolutely any skin tone. But let's continue. We've got straight cut and short ponytail hair. Not long after Kanan come out, I feel like this is just the gelled back for actually pretty much exactly what I'm wearing right now. It's the same wig. Hey, this isn't a wig. I feel like this is probably used for Dooku. Ponytail is confusing. It is confusing. Maybe this is one of the elements they would have cut off that ponytail on the back. This has got to be Dooku's hair. Not everyone knows every Lego brick. I can sit here and tell you that that hairpiece was used like 10 years ago and is still used today. Not every designer's gonna know that. So I think this was a modified piece for Dooku's hair. And then we have a female ponytail. All right, we'll keep that in mind. Maybe that was for the Leia minifigure. We don't know yet. If we keep scrolling, this is likely Dooku's face with a little bit of like the beard, the stubble. It's a bearded face, probably the first one that they saw when searching for stubble, when searching for, you know, cheek lines. It does show up with a few similar patterns that you see. A few similar patterns that you see with the Dooku faces. Here we've got another Yoda head. Oh, look, there we go. Leia's two buns hair, so hairpiece with buns. How many characters do you know wear a hairpiece with buns? The hips and legs and the torso plain white, which again is interesting because Leia's torso would have already existed, and I'm sure now that the set's out it would show up as its own element. Let's take a look at some of the other elements. So we've got that extra hairpiece, which is odd. We also have a lightsaber wand, one of them for Dooku. We've got that lightning element you saw. We've got two trans bright green lightsabers. Last time I checked, Yoda only has one. Maybe it's extra piece. No, can't be extra pieces because this round 1x1 orange plate is only included once and would have a second at least for an extra piece. So there's two green lightsabers. Who else do we know that has a green lightsaber? At this point in Attack of the Clones, massive Attack of the Clones fan, by the way, Anakin has a green saber. He gets handed it from one of the Jedis that arrive, like a spare saber they must have hanging around, or maybe from like a pre-flight casualty. That doesn't sound too good, but they did have some spare sabers. Anakin gets handed a green one. One of my favorite scenes is his fight with Dooku. Blue-green saber, but there's no Anakin in the set. And that hairpiece doesn't really add up to Anakin. We have a potential Leia, or someone in a white costume with a bun. We have Dooku, we have Yoda. There's a second Yoda head. Okay, second Yoda head is interesting. And three lightsabers, so there's definitely someone with a green lightsaber. Dooku doesn't pick it up when battling Yoda. Would have helped him out a ton. And if we check out the tan torso and legs that Yoda has, there's two of them as well. So perhaps the anniversary minifigure for 2019 was in fact Yoda, but then who would Leia have been? I don't think it was Yoda, by the way. I do think in 2019 this was probably more so for Chewbacca, because the anniversary minifigures that we do have, Kenobi, Leia, Vader, Han, Luke, 3PO. I don't think 3PO was an anniversary minifigure, and come to think of it, I don't think R2 was either. We got Lando as well, which I have used for my official Lando minifigure. we're missing Chewbacca. We're missing Chewbacca. We could have had Yoda. Lando's from Empire, but Lando shows up in Empire and Return. Yoda just shows up in Empire. Palpatine just shows up in Return, and both of them have different coloured faces. I mean, even Lando doesn't go with the yellow, but it is still a classic minifigure. So maybe we could have gone with a Chewbacca, which is very, very different. The difference for Yoda, I mean, they're all night and day, but like Yoda then to Yoda now, Palpatine then to Palpatine now, isn't as big a difference as someone like Chewbacca. No leg printing, the mold was completely different. Yoda's has been updated a little bit. Palpatine's Palpatine. The parts used for Palpatine back then are still being used in Jawas today, and underneath that robe, he's just a regular minifigure, so it's definitely not Palpatine. Maybe it could have been a classic Yoda, but that brings us to who Leia is. Like I said, if you want to see me build this, let me know in the comments, and I will build it sooner rather than later, so we don't have to wait for it. But there's one other character on Geonosis that wears all white and sports a bun, and it's someone who dresses quite a bit like Leia. That character is the Geonosis Padme that shows up, you know, just with Yoda. Yoda, I think, goes ahead, and the other clone trooper, which, by the way, I've seen a lot of speculation on who that clone trooper is. My headcanon is that it is Rex. That would be very nice, especially with the headcanon that he was somewhere on Endor, sort of tying up his complete journey. I do feel like Padme would have fit in that set with Yoda. I would have loved to have seen a clone trooper, but maybe we could have got a clone trooper battle pack alongside it, maybe a year after. This is what, 2019? So I think around 2018 we got the clone trooper booster pack, which would have gone well with this set. And also, not too long after, in fact, what, 2023, we got Kenobi's Delta, one of the greatest sets from Attack of the Clones, alongside the UCS Slave 1. And if this was coming out last year, the anniversary minifigure wouldn't have been a classic Yoda. So we've got Dooku, we've got Yoda. Padme, this would have come out a year or a few months after the Kenobi Starfighter, so we wouldn't have needed anything from Kenobi. Do we have Anakin? I've got Lego up. Let me have a little look at the Star Wars line and see if I can find an Anakin Star Wars minifigure. We've got the Ahsoka Eater, which does come with Anakin. That was this year though, and this would have been, what, last year and a year ago. Maybe we got Kenobi in 2023. We could have got Padme in 2024 and Anakin this year. That would have lined up for the 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars. So if Padme, Yoda and Dooku would have come with this set, last year they were big on Yoda. He even made it into this year's their annual, the 2025 Lego Star Wars annual. When are we going to see the 2026 Lego Star Wars annual? Because they've only revealed Lego's own line and Harry Potter. Lego's ties into Ninjago, of course, celebrating their 15th next year, and Harry Potter. No Star Wars one yet, but when we find it, don't worry, I'll pick it up and we'll have a little look through that. So we would have got Kenobi, Anakin from the later seasons of Clone Wars. Despite it being a season 5 set, the Ahsoka Eater does come with a late Clone Wars Anakin, which kind of works for Attack of the Clones. Hairpiece needs to be switched up. Either way, it is still a very good Anakin minifigure. I think it works better as well for Attack of the Clones than some of the previous minifigures we've had, which are quite dark and Revenge of the Sith-esque. Who's that extra minifigure? We've already got Yoda, and I'm gonna take you back to the bonus piece that was included in that set. If we scroll back down to the hairs, we've got the female ponytail, swept sidewards fringe. So it's a character that has a ponytail and has a fringe as well. This piece has been used on a few minifigures we have seen. I'm not Bricklink, let me have a little look. This piece has been used on quite a few minifigures, I guess. There's a few in City as well, but we don't care about the City ones. We care about the 4 minifigures from Star Wars. We've got Cordy and we've got Torin Farr. I did not realize that character had a name, and just a Resistance soldier from the... Oh no, this is from oh no, it is from the sequels, from episode 7. The other character I think this could be perfect for is actually Yaddle. And it makes so much sense as a Star Wars fan. You've probably seen her as well. I have always tried to add a hair mold onto the Yoda head, and there's not many ways you can do it outside of making your own element. So I am going to be trying to merge this piece with a Yoda head and see what a Yaddle minifigure would look like. But this piece is almost perfect for a Yaddle minifigure on top of the Yoda head. There'd be some mold changes. Like I say, these pieces were collected off some sort of render that Lego had, and likelihood is they're using Studio, especially with this merger with Bricklink. I think Lego have cast their part designer completely aside, and all you'd have to do is place a minifigure head under Yoda's head, place the hair, and delete the minifigure head so it doesn't show through the Yoda skull. It doesn't actually look too bad. I'd love to get this set next year, especially because the A-Wing, the Death Star cannon, the Bad Batch set, the Land Speeder, and the Millennium Falcon polybag we have got since. And even the Super Battle Droid and the AT-RT Bionicle-esque build we've seen images of. This is the only one that we don't really know anything about. Let me know in the comments if you know anything else. Until then, check out the videos on screen now, and may the bricks be with you always.